everybody, and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, where I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, I react to YouTube videos, and I review YouTube channels, and I do whatever the hell I want. Today I'm doing one from a channel called Matrix Wisdom, and it's Black-Eyed Children. They're back. They're back, and stranger than ever before. I've done a video on them before. I find it interesting. I don't know whether I believe them or not, to be honest with you. I've never seen anything like I've said before. I've heard stuff and I've felt things, but I've never seen anything, so let's check this out.
Children. We think of them as harmless, and yet they are often depicted in Hollywood fiction as vessels for dark and unearthly forces, from demons to aliens.
Village of the Damned.
But films like The Omen and The Village of the Damned may not be as far-fetched as they seem, at least not according to a growing body of witnesses who claim to have encountered children so terrifying and unnatural that they call into question the very nature of our reality. The mystery of what are now referred to as Black-Eyed Children began in 1996 when a respected journalist, Brian Bethel, encountered two strange children one night in Abilene, Texas. Bethel was at an after-hours Dropbox after forgetting to pay a bill earlier that day. While writing out the check, he was startled by a tapping on his window. Bethel looked up to see two boys. At first glance, they appeared perfectly normal and unthreatening, but Bethel quickly noticed that the atmosphere around his car had changed somehow, and he suddenly felt a sense of malignance and foreboding. Bethel wound down his window, just enough to ask the children what they wanted. Their story left Bethel uneasy.
What the hell you want?
They said they needed a ride home to get money to watch a movie at the cinema.
You little
Come on,
bastard.
mister, let us in, said one of the children. We can't get into your car until you let us. It was at this point that Bethel finally got a good look at their faces. His blood ran cold as he noticed that their eyes were completely black, with no iris or pupils to be seen. Unsurprisingly, Bethel put his foot to the accelerator and made a speedy exit. As he glanced back, however, he noticed that the children were nowhere to be seen, almost as if they had vanished into thin air. Bethel shared his story originally in a private email to a colleague, but 2 years later, in 1998, it was leaked. In the years since Bethel's story became public, many more witnesses have come forward with their own similar encounters with the Black-Eyed Children. In 2010, in a case investigated by author Nick Redfern, a woman named Allison reported her own chilling encounter at a motel in Orange County, California. At approximately 11 p.m., while watching a movie in her room, Allison was startled by a knocking at her door. She got up and tentatively peered through the spy hole, through which she could see two young boys. One of the boys asked if he could come inside. Please let us in, he said. We need to use the telephone. The boys made sure their faces were obscured while they were talking to Allison through the peephole, and this only added to her sense of unease. Then things turned decidedly sinister, as Allison felt what she described as an evil force trying to hijack her free will and make her unlock the door. Fortunately, she was able to regain control, but when she looked through the spy hole again, she could see only a pair of solid black eyes staring back at her. Panicked, she quickly phoned the night manager, but when he arrived, the children were nowhere in sight. It was another near miss with the Black-Eyed Children. But there are also reports of people who were not so lucky. In Nevada, a witness claims to have survived a physical altercation with the Black-Eyed Children.
I think it's funny how they always
The
wear
witness claims he was at a rest stop when he was approached by three teens around 18 years old, wearing dusty, worn-out clothes. As in previous cases, the teens were said to have had solid eyes and asked to enter the man's car. In the previous cases, the witnesses were defenseless, but here the man had a weapon, a knife, in case he needed to defend himself. The man decided to open his car door ever so slightly in order to scare off the teens. It was a move he would immediately regret, as the black-eyed boys wrenched the door wide open and dragged him from his vehicle. Fearing for his life, the man lashed out, knife in hand, stabbing one of the boys twice. But the boys didn't even flinch. Instead, he simply looked at the man and said, "Maybe next time," before casually walking off with the others. The man claims that there was no blood on the floor or on his knife.
That's Hollywood.
He is certain that his aggressors wanted him dead. So just who or what are the black-eyed children? They reportedly terrorize those they come into contact with, initially through the unsettling atmosphere they project around them. Given the opportunity, they can behave aggressively, but critically, they also seem to require permission before they can enter the would-be victim's location, be it a home, a hotel room, or even a car. They are also reported as attempting to force their entrance by hijacking the free will of those unfortunate enough to encounter them, and they are typically encountered at night. Some of these attributes bring to mind stories from vampire mythology, but while it's tempting to ascribe a supernatural explanation to the black-eyed children, the truth may even be out of this world. The alien theory. Many researchers have pointed out the apparent connection between black-eyed children and the Men in Black of UFO lore. Both have been terrorizing people for decades, showing up unexpectedly at their doors, entering only when invited to do so. Both are clad in black or dark clothes. And, while the children have black eyes, the Men in Black are also often reported as wearing black sunglasses. These parallels have led some to suggest that the Men in Black and the black-eyed children are one and the same, or at least are cut from the same otherworldly cloth. Some ufologists have even suggested that the black-eyed children are hybrid beings created by an alien race. David Weatherly, author of the book The Black-Eyed Children, speculates about the possible alien lineage of the black-eyed children. Could it be that a dying alien race, the infamous Greys, are in desperate need of fresh DNA in order to survive? Could the black-eyed children be the offspring of the Greys? If so, is their increasingly brazen presence evidence of a looming alien invasion, an invasion by stealth, in which humans are gradually bred out and replaced with hybrid entities? The ghost theory. Perhaps, though, the supernatural theory is worthy of more careful consideration. The black-eyed children are often described as having pale, almost grey complexions with the ability to appear and disappear at will. In his book, Your Haunted Lives, The Black-Eyed Kids, G. Michael Vasey suggests the black-eyed kids are what the Iroquois Indians referred to as the Otkon. According to Vasey, the Indians believe in a dark power called the Otkon that could take over children. Children wandering alone in the woods could also be taken over by the Otkon and would re-emerge with black eyes and pale skin, acting nervously while repeating themselves over and over. Their goal was to destroy the tribe and infect all of the people with Otkon. Is there a more scientific explanation for this mystery? A trick of the mind? The paranormal investigator A. Milhorn has offered a simple psychological explanation for the increased sightings of the black-eyed children. Milhorn suggests that when we read about a phenomenon, such as UFOs or black-eyed children, we are more predisposed to be attentive to it. In other words, if an individual is already aware of the black-eyed children mystery, he or she will become more likely to apply his filter to any slightly unusual or unexpected encounter with children.
You could be more attentive to it, or you could make it up in your mind. Or it could be real. Who knows?
The active stimulus triggers the connection between the senses and the pre-existing knowledge in the individual's brain, making a false connection between the two and leading to a flawed conclusion. Essentially, Milhorn suggests that some black-eyed children encounters are nothing more than an overactive mind creating a false perspective based on the information one has already stored about this mystery. A trick of the light. Most, if not all, sightings of the black-eyed children happen at night, or in low light conditions. Normally in darkened conditions, human eyes dilate as the pupil enlarges to let in more light. This can also happen in other conditions. This can occur when a pupil is blown due to an increased intracranial pressure. A condition called adystonic pupil is one in which the affected eyes appear larger or more dilated than normal eyes and react abnormally to light. Despite the many theories surrounding them, the true nature and origin of the black-eyed children remains a mystery. Are they simply normal children with enlarged pupils using a modern urban mythology to pull pranks on strangers? Are they evil spirits determined to spread their otherworldly infection to another unfortunate host? Or are they part of an extraterrestrial plot to take over the world? Encounters with black-eyed children are rare, but reports from all over the world continue to be logged by researchers. The consistency of these reports strongly suggests that, regardless of who they might be or where they might come from, if you ever find yourself face to face with a black-eyed child, beware.
Words to live by. If you ever find yourself face to face with a black-eyed child, beware. How about a joke? What do you call a guy with no body and no nose? Nobody knows. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize for that one. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hashtag #MeanGene, all that fun stuff, and I will see you next time.